It's Monday, June 6th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest area news. Rob Adams joins us later with a look at your forecast and a Nutmeg sports update, and Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, Christopher Plaskin, who in March entered a plea of no contest in the 2014 stabbing death of fellow student Marin Sanchez in the hallway of Jonathan Law High School, is being sentenced today in Milford Superior Court. Under a no contest plea, the defendant neither accepts nor denies responsibility for the act, but agrees to accept the punishment. Plaskin is scheduled to be sentenced to 25 years in prison. The maximum sentence for murder in Connecticut is 60 years. With the plea, Plaskin's attorneys have said that he could be paroled and out of jail in 13 years. Plaskin's attorney also said he will likely remain at Manson Youth Institute until he is 21 or 22, and then he will be transferred to an adult prison facility. Sources said Plaskin stabbed Marin in a stairwell at Jonathan Law High School on the morning of April 25, 2014, because she was not going to prom with him. There have also been subsequent reports that Plaskin heard voices and that he had been struggling with mental health issues. The Milford Mirror editor Jill Dion is currently in court and will update that story as more information becomes available. And police are investigating after a man was found lying on the right shoulder of Route 8 South in Bridgeport early Monday morning. NBC Connecticut reports that state police said the man was found around 5 in the morning near exit 2 and was transported to the hospital for evaluation. According to police, there does not appear to be anything criminal involved. And a fisherman fell from his 50-foot trawler into Long Island Sound at about 2:30 in the afternoon Saturday when a fish he hooked pulled him overboard, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. The Connecticut Post reports that Dustin James, a petty officer in the U.S. Coast Guard, said the man was uninjured and rescued by a Good Samaritan about half a mile from Point No Point in Stratford. He was in the 64-degree water for about 11 minutes. A Bridgeport Marine unit along with the U.S. Coast Guard responded to the incident. The man, who was not identified, was safely returned to his boat, which was registered at Brewer Marina in Stratford. It is unknown what type of fish pulled the man into the water, but the world's largest striped bass, weighing 81 pounds and 54 inches long, was caught in Long Island Sound back in 2011. And after responding to a car accident on Sunday, Shelton's volunteer fire department, Echo Hose Hook and Ladder, criticized drivers for not having regard for emergency vehicles. On Facebook, the firefighters posted a photo of the accident on Route 8 northbound between exits 13 and 14 and then wrote, as a side note, "It baffles my mind with the drivers on the road and their lack of regard for emergency vehicles." They went on to say, "Pull over and clear the way." And Western Connecticut State University professors announced last week that a Revolutionary War archaeological site off Limekiln Road in Reading is almost certainly from the same time period as Putnam Park, confirming a decades-long assumption that the site was home to Patriot soldiers during the winter of 1779. Experts found a total of 60 Revolutionary War structures on that site. And what Professor Beth Morrison and her fellow Professor Lori Weinstein found during a study that ran from 2007 to 2016 on the Middle Encampment area was its soil structure matched that found in Putnam Park. In terms of artifacts, the team was able to find a great deal of metal remains of the Revolutionary War camp, including military buttons, shoe buckles, and musket balls. But you can get a lot more on that story at thereadingpilot.com. And in Stratford, a car struck a home on Huntington Road late Saturday. A car hit a home at 2740 Huntington Road around 11:20 at night. However, no serious injuries were reported. The building inspector was called, but the house was determined to be fine, police said. The cause of that accident is still under investigation. And in other news today, the majority of Americans support the legalization of marijuana. That, according to a national Quinnipiac University poll released this morning. By a margin of 54 to 41%, respondents agreed with the statement that marijuana should be made legal in the United States. Men support marijuana legalization by a slightly wider margin than women, 60 to 37% versus 48 to 46%. The only demographics measured by the Quinnipiac poll who oppose marijuana legalization are Republicans, with 62% against and 36% in favor. Voters over the age of 65 who are 57 to 37% no, and white women who oppose it narrowly 48 to 47%. The poll found that Americans by very large margins also support the medicinal use of marijuana with a doctor's prescription. The margin of support on that question is 89 to 9%, with every demographic backing it with at least 81% support. The Connecticut legislature just recently passed an amendment to the state's medical marijuana law, allowing for pediatric use in specific cases. However, a bill that would have legalized recreational marijuana in Connecticut was proposed but did not make it far this year. And in New Canaan, a dozen neighbors of the 18.9 acres of the Norotan River watershed woodlands owned by Aquarian Water Company adjacent to Frogtown Road, Wells Lane, West Road, and Indian Waters Drive, and other members of the public sounded off in an attempt to preserve open space Wednesday, June 1st, during a double header of public hearings at Town Hall conducted by the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority. Throughout the meeting, speakers suggested they would like the New Canaan Land Trust to attain that land so it will remain open space. Aquarian's application to PURA calls for about 10 acres to become a subdivision into 2 residential building lots. The water utility already has an agreement to sell about 8 of the acres to a neighbor, possibly to use as a buffer between his Frogtown Road property and the remaining now Aquarian land. President Emeritus of the New Canaan Land Trust, Chris Shipper, told the PURA commissioners who hold the power to deny Aquarian's application to sell the land that New Canaan fights hard for open space because there is so little to fight for. He said New Canaan has less than 12% dedicated to open space. But we're going to switch gears now and throw it over to Rob Adams for a look at the forecast.
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. A sunny day and a high near 82. It's absolutely beautiful outside. The wind out of the southwest from around 10 is going to be a nice, warm, windy day. Tonight, a slight chance of showers as we head through the overnight hours. Partly cloudy with a low around 65, but it's a very slight chance at 20%. We'll move up to 40% of a chance of showers, thunderstorms, and so on tomorrow afternoon. Partly sunny and a high near 80. Tuesday night, we'll roll that chance, but it'll drop down to 20% into the evening hours, and all of that mostly before 10 p.m. Otherwise, partly cloudy and a low 58. Wednesday, now a slight chance of showers at 40% and a chance of showers and thunderstorms after the morning hours. Partly sunny, high near 71. Wind out of the west from 9 to 14. Wednesday night, we drop that back down to a 20% chance of showers, thunderstorms before 8, then a slight chance after that. Partly cloudy and a low 54. You sensing a trend here? Mostly sunny and 69 for Thursday, mostly clear and 54 for Thursday night. Friday, sunny and 73. Saturday, chance of showers 73, sunny, partly sunny, and a high near 75 degrees. Reading, you have 77 degrees, Easton 76, and here in Shelton, 76 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Donald Dang takes a look back on this day in history. Rob Adams has a Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have some more news coming up after this.
Connecticut is coming back to hometown banking, to a partner that makes small businesses feel big, where community comes first, where you get the know-how only neighbors can deliver, where saving time is important too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well, bank smart, bank local, bank well. With the 24-month Bank Well Smart CD, you can earn 1.35% APY and raise your rate and add to your CD.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break. It's June 6th, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng.
Well, thanks, Kate. And first off, we're going to start in 1822. Fur trapper Alexis St. Martin accidentally shot in the stomach, leading to William Beaumont's studies on digestion. St. Martin's stomach lining healed to the outside of his skin, leaving a tunnel through which Beaumont could raise and lower food on a string. Beaumont continued his experiments until 1833, publishing his findings 5 years later. St. Martin actually lived until 1880. To 1844 we go. The Young Men's Christian Association, that is the YMCA, founded in London. In addition to being fun to stay there, the YMCA aims to put Christian principles into practice by developing healthy body, mind, and spirit. Those three angles reflected in the different sides of the red triangle part of the YMCA logo. Though it remains an inherently religious organization, many national and local branches do de-emphasize that aspect. 1933, of course, World War II. The Battle of Normandy begins. D-Day, codenamed Operation Overlord, commences. 155,000 Allied troops land on the Normandy beaches in northern France. They quickly broke through the Atlantic Wall, pushed inland in the largest amphibious military operation in history. 1997. While attending her senior prom in Lacey Township, New Jersey, Melissa Drexler gives birth in a bathroom stall, leaves the baby in a trash can, and returns to the prom. That is the prom mom incident. She would eventually serve about 3.5 years for manslaughter. And finally, now we go to 1984, by probably the most addictive item ever to come out of the Soviet Union. Check it out.
You don't need to touch your shop. Tetris. Exercise. Square, rectangle, trapezoid, texturezoid.
Nintendo introduces Tetris.
Put a piece here, put a piece there. Use your thumbs, use your eyes. Find yourself exercise.
Now you're playing with power.
One of the best-selling video games of all time, Tetris, released in the USSR on this date, 1984. It was the first entertainment software exported from the Soviet Union to the West, and while popular on a number of platforms, it was the release of the Nintendo Game Boy version in 1989 that elevated Tetris into one of the most popular video games ever. Consider it the 1980s Candy Crush. That is your look back in history for today, June 6th, and I'm Donald Eng.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, getting back to a little more news today, Saturday on Main Street in Stratford was all about sun, fun, and good food. Thousands packed onto the town's busiest street for the 6th annual Stratford Main Street Festival. For many, it was a chance to get out and enjoy one of the warmest Saturdays of the years. Some looked for crafts and charms, while others sought out some food like fried blooming onions or chicken with a side of lemonade. You can get a lot more photos of that event at stratfordstar.com. We're going to throw it over to Rob Adams for a Nutmeg Sports Update.
All right, Kate, good morning once again, everyone. Let's start in baseball. Not the best of weekends for the locals, but we have one team moving on to the semifinals. These are the Class AA quarterfinals. From the scoreboard, it was New Milford over Wilton 11-6. Simsbury knocked off Trumbull 1-0, but Ward with a 3-1 win. over Xavier. They will play Simsbury in the state semifinals on their way up to Palmer Field in Middletown. Over to boys lacrosse now. It was the Class L quarterfinals, and Simsbury knocked off Wilton 14-13. Simsbury will play Fairfield Prep in the semis. Darien all over Ludlow 13-2. Jack Niffen 5 more goals for the Wave. Ridgefield beats Staples 13-5. And a late stick violation by Greenwich led to back-to-back Jesuit goals. Prep over Greenwich 11-10. From the Class M quarterfinals in boys lacrosse, Kyle Smith and Jackson Apelt each scored twice. Drew Morris made 12 saves. New Canaan beat North Haven 8-2. The Rams next played Joel Barlow in the semis on Wednesday. From the Class S quarterfinals, Jared Newell led the Cadets with 6 goals, 5 assists. St. Joseph over North Branford 17-5. Let's move over now to the Class L quarterfinals in boys volleyball. Ridgefield got a 3-2 win over Southington. As you can see, scores there, 25-16 and so on to the 15-13 game ender. Nick Ladotti had 21 kills for Ridgefield, including 2 late in the 5th set that helped break a 12-12 tie. From girls tennis from the Wilton Bulletin, all 5 Wilton tennis players in the boys and girls state open tournaments remain alive after Saturday's opening rounds of play. The Warriors are represented in the girls tournament by the doubles team of Taylor Ingerman and Lee Culnane, and Ali Shea and Rachel Lowe as well, and in the boys tourney by singles player Nick Kondos. Both Wilton girls tennis doubles teams advanced to the round of 16 after Saturday's opening round held at Conard and Hall High Schools in West Hartford. Kondos opened the boys state open tournament with a straight set win over Brendan White, of Old Lyme, 6-1, 6-love in the first round at Amity. He will play Will Sidney of Weston in the quarters today at Yale. On that schedule tonight at 7, St. Joseph will play in the Class M softball semis against Rocky Hill at DeLuca Field in Stratford, just down the road. The state open track and field meet, as well as the Division I and Division III golf championships, which feature 8 FCAC teams, and the state open boys tennis are also on the docket for tonight. And we've added some games to the HAN network broadcasting schedule. Tomorrow we'll have live coverage of the CIAC Class L semifinals from Fairfield Ludlow. In Game 1 at 5, 7-seeded Greenwich takes on number 6 Fairfield Ward, and in the nightcap at 7, top-seeded Darien plays number 13 Wilton. I'll give you a hint that there may be more the day after tomorrow, but I can't announce anything just yet. Don't forget, we'll have the HAN Network FCAC Athletes of the Week today on Nutmeg Sports. We'll announce who the winners are. We will also name the new nominees. Donald Ang and I have that for you. 2 o'clock today, right here on the HAN Network. With sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, getting back to a little more news today, 2 kayakers had to be rescued from the Housatonic River on Saturday after the boat became flooded. Stratford police said the father and son tandem had rolled their kayaks near the mouth of the Housatonic River on Saturday afternoon and were unable to get back to their flooded kayaks. The 2 men were retrieved from the water by the Stratford Police Marine Unit with the assistance of a retired police officer who was on a boat in the area. The kayakers and their boats were transported to the Bird's Eye boat ramp. Neither of the men required any medical attention. And Wildlife in Crisis, in partnership with the New Canaan Community Foundation and the New Canaan Land Trust, held an event Saturday, June 4th at the town's Livingston Higley Preserve for the release to freedom of 2 rehabilitated, healthy barred owls, one of which had been injured in New Canaan. In front of about 75 people, Land Trust President Emeritus Chris Shipper and the Weston Wildlife in Crisis Director Dana Reed spoke briefly. Then Reed, wearing heavy gloves, gently but firmly took the owls one at a time from large containers, releasing them back into the wild. You can get more at ncadvertiser.com. And another great weekend event, walkers and runners packed the streets of Stamford on Sunday to fundraise for the Bennett Cancer Center at Stamford Hospital. 100% of those funds raised through the walk and run, as well as ongoing Hope and Motion fundraising campaign, go right to the center. For over 20 years, the Bennett Cancer Center has provided care to the community's cancer patients and their families. The fundraising supports programs like exercise and nutrition programs, integrative medicine, patient transportation services, as well as educational programs. But we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following on your coffee break after this. For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities with locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford. Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000. At the Language School in Ridgefield, we teach practical language for real life, tailored to your professional needs or those of your children. Offering more than a dozen languages, the school specializes in creating customized classes for businesses, government agencies, and healthcare professionals in Fairfield and Westchester counties. Native speakers from around the world will instruct students of all ages in the language and the culture using a hands-on method. Find out more about what makes us different at thelanguageschoolglobal.com or call us at 203-241-7010.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network. We're back on this Monday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that Christopher Plaskin, who back in March entered a plea of no contest in the 2014 stabbing death of student Marin Sanchez, is in court today to be sentenced. We've been receiving updates on court proceedings that are happening now. Christopher Plaskin has reportedly declined to address the court. Plaskin is scheduled to be sentenced to 25 years in prison. The maximum sentence for murder in Connecticut is 60 years. With the plea, Plaskin's attorneys have said that he could be paroled and out of jail in 13 years. Sources said Plaskin stabbed Marin in a stairwell at Jonathan Law High School on the morning of April 25th, 2014, because she would not go to prom with him. There have been subsequent reports that Plaskin heard voices and had been struggling with mental health issues. In court today, the state's attorney says Plaskin took Marin Sanchez's life, but not her spirit, and that will live on. But you can get updates on that story at milfordmirror.com. And police are investigating after a man was found lying on the right shoulder of Route 8 South in Bridgeport early Monday morning. NBC Connecticut reports that state police said the man was found around 5 in the morning near exit 2 and was transported to the hospital for evaluation. Officials said at the time there does not appear to be any criminal activity involved. And a fisherman fell from his 50-foot trawler into Long Island Sound at about 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday when a fish he hooked pulled him overboard. That, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. The Connecticut Post reports that Dustin James, a petty officer in the U.S. Coast Guard, said the man was uninjured and rescued by a Good Samaritan about a half mile from Point No Point in Stratford. He was in the 64-degree water for about 11 minutes. A Bridgeport Marine unit, along with the U.S. Coast Guard, responded. The man, who was not identified, was safely returned to his boat, which was registered at Brewer Marina in Stratford. It is unknown what type of fish pulled him into the water, but the world's largest striped bass, weighing 81 pounds and 54 inches long, was caught in Long Island Sound back in 2011. And after responding to a car accident Sunday, Shelton's volunteer fire department Echo Hose Hook and Ladder criticized drivers for not having regard for emergency vehicles. On Facebook, the firefighters posted a photo of the accident, which occurred on Route 8 northbound between exits 13 and 14. As a side note, they wrote, "It baffles my mind with the drivers on the road and their lack of regard for emergency vehicles." They went on to say, "Pull over and clear the way." But we're going to switch gears now and throw it back to Rob Adams for a final look at the forecast.
All right, Kate, sunny and 82 for your high today. Very pleasant day, wind out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. Slight chance of showers tonight, partly cloudy, low 65 as we move to Tuesday. Chance of showers and thunderstorms possible in the afternoon, partly sunny and 80 otherwise. We move to Tuesday night, well, it's a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, and you've got a low night otherwise, or a partly cloudy night otherwise, and low as well, but low around 58. Sorry about that. Slight chance of showers, thunderstorms, all that good stuff as we move into Wednesday, partly sunny and 71. And to Thursday, mostly sunny and 69. Friday, mostly sunny and 73. 73 for Saturday with a chance of showers, and 75 on Sunday on a partly sunny day otherwise. Right now, 76 degrees here in Shelton as we look forward to a good day, and we look forward to, again, girls lacrosse tomorrow with a doubleheader in the semis, and we have Nutmeg Sports today at 2 o'clock. We'll give you all you need to know on the athletes of the week, winners from last week, and the nominees for this week. Kate, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, before we go, just a breaking news note. We are hearing now that Christopher Plaskin has been sentenced to 25 years for the murder of his classmate Marin Sanchez. That happened back in April of 2014. As we reported earlier, we've been receiving updates on court proceedings. Plaskin had declined to address the court today during his sentencing, and according to his attorneys, under the plea agreement, he could be released and paroled out of jail in 13 years. His attorney said he will likely remain at Manson Youth Institute until he is 21 or 22, and then will be transferred to an adult facility. Also in court today, the state's attorney said that Plaskin took Marin Sanchez's life, but not her spirit, and that will live on. You can get more updates on the court proceedings this afternoon at milfordmirror.com. We're going to wrap things up now on your coffee break. Of course, Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 for your coffee break.